Yeah, what's up? This is the Heaviest podcast, weekly worship at the altar of radness. It's just me this week. Sonny did an awesome interview last week with Tony and Stefan from Crippling Alcoholism. So if you haven't checked that out, go check that out. I'll put the little jobby in the corner. This week's my turn. I've got a guest by the name of Brent Mills. He's the vocalist of the Kentucky-based post-hardcore band Greyhaven. We had a lovely chat. His band are absolutely sick, and I absolutely love them. If you've been checking out the podcast for a while, you know how much I love them. So it's really cool to talk to him about his new album, Keep It Quiet, which is coming out October the 10th on Solid State. We're here every week, sort of chatting riffs, talking to sick people from sick bands. So maybe consider hitting the subscribe button, stay up to date with the latest shows. But for now, here's my chat with Brent. I'm joined by Brent, singer of Greyhaven. How's it going, man? You good?
Going great. Yeah, doing fantastic.
Awesome. It's really nice to meet you. I'm actually a really, really big fan of your band. So
awesome.
I was going to wear my, I've got like a long sleeve that I got on the Empty Black cycle that I was going to wear just to show you how cool I am, but I put on some weight and I can't get into it. So I look
the big
like
ass truck is a good
mashed potatoes. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm pretty proud of this. This is a banger. I did spend about 50 quid getting it shipped into the UK, which is probably a bit excessive. If my wife asks, it costs 20 quid, all right?
I can relate. I've got a couple shirts that I probably shouldn't have spent money on that much.
It's just, they're too tempting, aren't they? And then you just kind of pretend. You just sort of like this and then click it.
Yeah. My vice is I'll spend too much time on eBay, and if there's a good deal on something, I'm like,
Oh dear, yeah. I don't know if do you have Vinted in America? Vinted is kind of like just sort of used secondhand clothing and stuff. And I went for a stage where I just kept buying new secondhand trainers. And I've only got 2 feet. Like, how many pairs of trainers do I realistically need? But I just couldn't help myself. I just kept buying them and buying them.
I spent a lot of time in the Goodwill looking for just whatever.
Yeah. Rummaging out for a good bargain. Everyone loves a good bargain. So anyway, you're about to release your 4th album, right? Keep It Quiet.
Correct.
Since I got the promo stream, I've been listening to it basically obsessively.
Awesome,
I'm absolutely loving it. Yeah, it's really cool. But I kind of wanted to go back a little bit to start with. I wanted to sort of clock it back. So like, I first came across your band on Mathcore Index. I'm not sure if you're aware of that on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
And they posted Cult America, and I was like, oh, hello. This is
real. Way back.
Yeah,
man.
Back. I was on holiday at the time. I was actually on my honeymoon, and I was sat by a pool in Thailand just listening to it and like, this is absolutely sick.
That's wild.
But then when you kind of first came out with Echoes and Dust Part 1 and then subsequently Empty Black, the style was quite a big shift. Like, I know you guys had a bit of member changes and stuff, but what was kind of the main catalyst for you kind of transitioning from something quite sort of abrasive? Well, I mean, it's always been abrasive, but like really abrasive, almost sort of noise rocky in places, to kind of something a bit more melodic and a bit more kind of intricate.
Yeah. So I think, us four are all big fans of big choruses and melody and all that kind of stuff. But when we were initially writing Empty Black, with Nick and Ethan on board, we had a conversation. We wanted to keep the same like feel of the band from the first record, but Nick was actually in a band that I had really, really enjoyed here locally, and he's just, I mean, you can hear it. He's just an insane guitar player, so I was very excited when we got Nick and Ethan, because all of our high school bands, college bands have been playing shows together forever, so we were aware of each other. And we had one practice where Ethan and Nick showed up on the same day. We ran through a couple songs, and it was just like, it just clicked. We were like, this is it. This is the band. And we spent a lot of time writing, because it took a long time for us to, reconvene, become kind of an active band again, because we were spinning our wheels there for a little bit, trying to lock everything in. And then getting back out there, playing shows, and eventually kind of got noticed by our manager, Tom. And how trying to sell a band. Once it started rolling, we linked up with Putney. we had been playing together for like 2 years at that point, getting these songs together and everything.
Yeah.
And it just kind of came naturally. I mean, the songs on the record are the songs we wrote. We had a couple other tracks that didn't make it there, but we just kept writing from the jump, and that's just kind of what came out of it, because he's a pretty aggressive guitar player, but he also plays very melodic, and then I really like to sneak in melodies in kind of maybe not so traditional places. I don't really know
absolutely
what my thing with that is, but I just think it's so cool to juxtapose the two.
Absolutely, yeah, kind of counterpoints type thing. So yeah, kind of from there, you moved into this bright and beautiful world. There was something I've always wanted to ask you about that album. Your first single was All Candy.
Mm-hmm.
I have to admit, as a fan of your band, when I first heard it, I was like a bit nervous. I was a bit like, oh no, what's happened? Obviously, you come from, I'm like, every time I die of my all-time favorite band, I love the Dillinger Escape Plan. A lot of the stuff that I could hear that you guys were clearly inspired by was all in there. And then I kind of heard this and I was like, oh no, Greyhaven are going alt rock. And I always wanted to know, was that like, did you do that on purpose? Were you trying to sort of maybe push people's buttons a little bit?
I think so. Like we really liked the song, and the label was pretty into that being a single.
Yeah.
Just obviously it's
I could see that.
Accessible. In hindsight, it definitely wasn't the move. I think it kind of, gave people the wrong impression of the record. I've seen some people even say that record wasn't heavy, and I was like, well, you listened to one song. That's
that's it. You clearly only listened to that one song.
Yeah, because I mean, in my personal opinion, that record is so much more aggressive than Empty Black. And
I would concur with you. Yeah,
there's a lot of stuff we experimented with on that record. It kind of bums me out. That one kind of was the COVID record, the sleeper record, the one that kind of just fell a little bit flat or whatever. And that's fine. I feel like people are gonna find it later and hopefully be surprised by it. But that it just seemed like an interesting move. We also didn't really expect the 6-month rollout in like the times between singles. I think it just gave people the wrong impression of the record, honestly.
I mean, for the record, after it sort of sat in the context of the album, I fell in love with it. And it was also like a gateway for my wife to get into your band as well. Like, she's not really into heavy music, but I'll force it down her neck in the car, so she doesn't really have a lot of choice. And
it's a song you can show your grandma,
Yeah, absolutely. It's a song you can show to your mum and she won't mind. She's not going to like throw up from listening to it or something. And then so obviously you had the Stereo Grief EP, and that was kind of around the time you announced you were signing to Solid State, which, I mean, you can listen to 30 seconds of your band and realize that you guys all grew up on bands that were on Solid State. How excited were you to sign to that label?
Very, yeah. I mean, our contract with Equal Vision was up, and we weren't really sure what was going to happen. And it just kind of so happened coincidentally that Adam, the AR for Solid State, was talking to our manager, Tom. And he just kind of asked him like what he had going on. And he said, Greyhaven's contract is up. And he, without missing a beat, was just like, I want to work with him.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that's exciting to hear that someone like wants to work with you and you're not trying to beg for attention, But so we got on a call with him, and he was just so awesome, and he really knew about the band. He was like mentioning songs and just telling us like how much he liked the last record, and that he could see that it didn't maybe get the numbers or do the attention that we all kind of wanted, but he was like, don't change the sound. Like, don't take that as a thing that you guys are doing something wrong. He's like, you guys are doing everything right. And he was mentioning like deep cuts off the record. And it was just really refreshing because like, we weren't really getting that experience before. Like, I was getting notes and like promo stuff with like the song title spelled wrong and just like all kinds of random stuff. I was like, it's not really feeling like we were paid a ton of attention to. And then with Solid State, it was just like, such a different experience, you know, and it's been like that since too, you know, like they've just been the best from the jump.
Mate. And as a lifelong He Is Legend fan, and I believe you are as well. I think I see a video of you once when you were wearing one of the shirts that they did
Oh, yeah.
for Few, when you had to like pay into the Kickstarter to
Yeah,
get.
yeah.
So I know you're a hardcore He Is Legend fan. It must have been exciting to know that you were on the same label as that band. I mean, I would have
Yeah.
been over the moon.
Yeah. I mean, just all the bands that label has hosted and then like are currently supporting, like every band
Yeah.
on that label right now are crushing. And I think that's another thing that we were like, oh, this is exciting. Like they're not, you know, falling backwards literally at all. Like everybody's just having a moment on that label right now. So we were
Yeah.
excited to be a part of that. And
Yeah,
it's a small
definitely.
roster, which we were glad to have.
Yeah, so you get a bit more attention and stuff as well.
Yeah,
a little bit
exactly.
more
It
sort of-
feels
yeah.
like we're, you know, a smaller team. It's like more personable. It's great.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, that's awesome, man. So kind of, I've jumped around a bit, but if we kind of talk about the new record. So I've been listening to it absolutely loads, and I just kind of hear specific, like particularly your journey from like album to album. You kind of, I feels like you keep pushing yourself more, and maybe every album you kind of get a bit braver with the melody that you're throwing in. And listening to this new record, it's like kind of the most melodic you've ever been as a vocalist. Like, talk to me, is that kind of like a confidence thing, or is it where are you kind of finding the balls to kind of go for more and more every new record?
I think that's something we all four kind of have, is this real appreciation for our craft, you know, and like, I mean, you've seen, if you've been keeping up with us, it's a slow burn for the band. It's not like it's been an overnight kind of, or even
Yeah.
a quick thing at all. It's so really for us, it's always been about like the art and the craft, and just for us, if we can make stuff that's like more interesting to us every record, that's kind of the goal, you know, that's the most important thing. And you know, I feel like every record Nick comes up with this stuff, and Johnny and Ethan just are coming up with these things that I'm like, how in the hell am I going to, you know, match this intensity? And it just, I mean, I feel like they top themselves every record, so I feel like I have to do the same. And for me, you know, I love heavy music. I like to scream. I think it's a lot of fun. But for me, the real joy is a good melody. You know, when we're playing live, and I can sing a really cool part, it's
Yeah.
the most fun I'm having on stage. So I think I've just taken that with me record to record, and trying to be more conscious of like what I enjoy doing. I still love screaming, so it's always going to be around. But like, it's, you know, I love a good hook. And then, yeah, I think us touring so much recently and having the ability to demo on this last session, which we haven't really had a great way to do that before. And now we kind of have, like, I got to sit with these songs for a lot longer, and, you know, just at my house trying things out. So I think that's a lot of where that experimental stuff kind of comes in. It's like, I would just be alone in my basement trying things out, and I'm get frustrated with a part and just go, well, what if I just do something that makes me laugh? And then that will inform like an actually like interesting, cool part, you know? Even if it's not what I was doing to
I like
kind of
that,
crack
yeah.
myself up, but you know, it gets you out of the writer's block a little bit, you know?
Yeah. Just kind of, I think it's one of those good sort of mind distraction techniques, isn't it? Where
Yeah.
if you can kind of just take your mind out of the moment and just go, that was absolutely ridiculous what I just did. And then
Yeah,
before you know it, you just.
there's a bridge on one of the songs that I was stuck on for a long time, and I literally, without using words, because I can't do this, but I was like, what if I just rap over this part? And I was straight up like hip hop just over this whole thing, and it was cracking me up. But then there was like 2 notes in it that actually like informed a melody.
So in the press release that I got with the record, you mentioned that you wanted to kind of be a bit more direct and vulnerable in your lyrics, and kind of strip back some of the metaphor and be slightly less cryptic. How did you kind of find that experience, putting yourself out there a bit more like that?
Oh man, honestly, it was very scary. I don't think any of it's super obvious.
Yeah.
Which I'm glad, it's like, I didn't want to be so out there, but I mean,
Yeah.
there are some things in there that even might sound kind of abstract or poetic that are quite literal for me. And, I guess in my mind, I thought like, if I did this, everyone would know and like just be able to see through everything. And I would have to like talk about all this stuff that I didn't really feel like I wanted to. But at the end of the day, Will and I had a conversation about some of the songs, and I was kind of telling him that like, this was hard for me to write. This one was pretty open for me. And he was like, well, that's why it's good. Like that's why it's real. And that's why people are going to connect with it. Cause they, even if they don't know exactly what you're talking about, like you can tell it's coming from a real place. And I had the same conversation with Tom when I was kind of struggling to finish, because I had to come back to record vocals. Like we did the main music in January. I had all of February home, and then I went back to finish vocals in March.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And because I gotten sick, so it was like I couldn't end up
yeah.
tracking. We went to the UK, and it was really cold, and it just
we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, and it just kind of messed me up. But yeah, I had the same conversation with him where I was like, man, I'm having a hard time finishing these lyrics, and the only things that are coming up are things that that are kind of hard. I haven't even dealt with half of this in my real life. So how am I going to put this in a song? And he was
it's
like,
an interesting place to do it for the first time, isn't it? In the middle of a song, yeah.
Yes. But, it was that same thing where he was like, lean into that. I know it's hard, but like, that's what's going to make this best thing can be. And I mean, he's right. And I'm glad I did it. And I think the record is better for it, for sure. And I feel better having done it. I can look at these as like, oh, okay, well, that's where I put a lot of that now. I can, at least it lives somewhere, not purely up here,
Yeah, absolutely. And kind of taking that, and then also the music, the song structures and the feel of the record, it just feels like bigger. And like I always say on the show, I say like, this is a band writing for the size of the rooms they want to be playing in, not the size of the rooms they're currently playing in. And I kind of feel like,
thank you.
Yeah. But it's like there's definitely like moments on the record that for me just feel huge. Like there's a question I wanted to ask you, which I was a little bit nervous to ask, but sometimes I hear a bit of a Nickelback influence. I was nervous to ask that question because obviously Nickelback, they are a bit of a sore spot for some people. I love them. I think they're brilliant, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. But it's just that like stadium size that you sometimes get to. Like, is this like, are you guys maturing? Like, I noticed you were wearing shirts and ties in your new music video as well. That's kind of a mature. That's the grown up move. Is this kind of you guys growing up and kind of maturing into your like later period of sound?
I think in a way, for sure. Like, we definitely always want to be growing. And Johnny would love that Nickelback comment, by the way.
Good.
Totally
I was worried.
No, he's a champion for Nickelback, for sure.
Good. There should be more of us.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely, I think so. Like, I think we were really purposeful about it. We were really trying to just craft the best songs that we can, but then also like, we're a big fan of making things sound as big as we can with there just being four of us. And obviously in the studio, there's more going on.
As many of you as you want. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I kind of notoriously stack harmonies on everything, and there's one of me. So it's sorry, but I just love the way it sounds, and you only get one shot in the studio to do it. So I'm like,
definitely.
Let's do it.
I love
absolutely.
it.
We'll figure it out later. But yeah, I do think so. I think having worked with Will so much and knowing how that process is going to be and taking that experience into writing songs, I feel like we've been doing it so long now that like you can kind of see like what the notes are going to be when we get to the studio. So we kind of mitigate that in the songs or like
You were
beforehand.
kind of imagining like a ghost Will Putney going, "No, you shouldn't. You
Yes.
should do this." Like, yeah,
Yes. He literally said, "Do the chorus again. Like, don't just do it once."
Not just one chorus, boys.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That was a big note we got early on.
I do want to ask you about working with Will Putney. Like, he's kind of like the man when it comes to producing heavy bands and making heavy music. And I think you guys have recorded all of your records with him. Is that right?
Yeah, we've done everything post the first, demo kind of record with him, including like that one-off single that we did. We've done everything with him, and
that's really cool. And what's it like? What's the experience of working with him in the studio like? Like, I know he's a man for, if you're in your big burly deathcore band, he's the man to go to because he give you that Fit for an Autopsy like gorgeous sound. You guys are much more kind of intricate and probably a lot weirder than a lot of the other bands that he works with. Do you find that like he gets what you're doing? I mean, obviously you do because you go back to him, but like, what's it kind of like working with him in the studio?
I think the coolest thing that we heard actually after we had done the first record, I heard him kind of talking about this, and he had heard our first record and wanted to work with us. And
oh wow,
kind of blows my mind because like the production on it, it's a little, it feels not as big as obviously his stuff is. And like honestly, when we listen to that record now, it's like the songs are recorded at like half the speed that we play them live. It kind of just feels a little draggy. But I mean, I think he just saw, I guess, something interesting, and we were really nervous because exactly like you said, he does all these deathcore, metalcore records, and we kind of had this fear that we were going to get up there and he was just going to tell us to throw a bunch of breakdowns and stuff, and it was exactly the opposite. I mean, we get up there and it's just immediately apparent that his taste is a lot weirder than the records that he puts out. Like we align very strongly on like a lot of the same stuff that we like, and
that's cool.
We would do these like weird parts and we'd almost apologize like, I'm sorry, it's kind of odd, and he was like, make it weirder, like let's lean into that, like what can we do to make it more weird, like more interesting, like let's do it. So that experience off that first record just was so great, and subsequently everything else that we had done has been the same. Like it just gets easier and easier and more comfortable every single time. And it just makes the process more fun, but also like a little quicker too. Like it just feels like we're here to do the thing and we know what we're doing, and we don't have to beat around the relationship, like personality things. Like we're already there. We're already friends. It's like,
you don't have to start by like being polite and then kind of slowly but surely get comfortable. You can just go straight in with like, nah, not like that, or like that, like.
And it's a point now where like I'm tracking vocals and stuff, and he can talk a little shit, and I'm like, yeah, I know, all right, like, and I like that. That's the kind of personalities that we all
feedback
are.
You like, yeah,
exactly. He's like, hey, just do it, right, do it better.
Yeah, that always helps. Like, you don't need someone like pussyfooting around. Like, just if it's 100%. Not good, just tell me it's not good, and I'll do it better. I will. I know I can. Like, that's.
But he
cool.
also really listens to us too, and like he gives a note, and we're like, we actually don't feel like that's the move. He's like, okay, well, what's the move then? And then we talk about it, and he's always down to be like, it's your record, so. Do what you want to do. He's like, I'm just here to give advice, press record.
That's cool. Like, there's levels, isn't there? Like you were talking about, like, what's his name, Rick Rubin. He basically kind of floats into the room, goes, and then like, leaves, and that's kind of as much as you get out of him. And like, it's cool to know you got someone who's hands-on but not too hands-on, and doesn't kind of want to just take over, which is cool, and I guess gives you the best possible result that you could get out of
and his advice, like his ideas are excellent. So like the finish, like getting there to the finish is a lot of fun, because like he has great ideas. Like he almost hacks like a fifth member in when we're recording, and in the best way.
That's cool. It's always good to just have like almost like a band uncle.
Yeah, exactly.
um, I wanted to kind of ask you just about like, because you guys obviously you're from Louisville. I'm not going to pronounce it in the accent because I did that once when we were talking about you guys, and Sonny told me it was cultural appropriation, so I'm not going to do it. But,
no, do it, please.
Louisville, there you go.
Yeah, there you go. Louisville.
Of course, you know, there's the phenomenal Knock Loose who come from your town, your city. Do you find that like the success of Knock Loose has been a catalyst for you guys and for other bands in your scene to like believe that you can get as far as they have? Do you know what I mean? Like, I always kind of think of like, you get a scene, like I always remember in the UK, there was like Pontefract in Wales, and there was one band that got really big, for a Funeral for a Friend, and suddenly like all the bands from that area all suddenly became like bigger deals because of it. And do you find that kind of has happened with you? You got a bit of a halo effect off of Knock Loose?
I feel like definitely Louisville as a whole is experiencing that for sure. I feel like there's a lot of like heavier bands than us that kind of appeal more to like what they're doing that definitely have experienced that. And we have, you know, LDB Fest here every year that is a bunch of those people and that community like, and it's become massive over the last few years, you know, and that's really cool. And it brings a lot of attention to the city. And I think that's amazing. For us, I'm not entirely sure because we're kind of in a different camp music wise. And I think like, you know, hardcore can be a little cliquey at times, but not really. I don't want to say that because I know a lot of those people and it's like not the intention.
No, I know what you mean. I understand.
But listeners sometimes can kind of shut things off that might not be in a certain vein or anything. But and I don't think we really get too affected by that because we just kind of have our own thing going on.
Yeah.
We're kind of doing our own thing. We're touring a lot, you know, and it's, you know, we're on our own journey a little bit, but I do think them getting as huge as they have, and I mean, we grew up with those dudes. So like, I love those dudes to death, and I've watched them grow from such a young age. They deserve every single thing that they're getting, and it's amazing. Like I always thought they would be a big band, but like this is extraordinary, right?
It's
like,
kind of mental, isn't it?
So unprecedented for anything like that. And I think having a band that heavy, that huge helps everyone who's playing
helps the entire metal scene. I absolutely agree.
Anything that's aggressive at all, I think, you know, is just benefiting from them being on that kind of level. It's just like, it's so incredible to watch.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Is there any other bands from Louisville that we should be checking out that we might not necessarily have heard of?
Yeah, there's a bunch of our friends around here. Like Foxbat's a great band. They kind of do a lot of Southern rock stuff.
I've checked those guys out. Yeah, I know those guys.
Yeah. Foxbat's awesome. Guerrilla Warfare is awesome. They kind of do like a new metalish.
Oh, they're kind of, it's like the drummer like raps, doesn't he? I know. I checked out Guerrilla Warfare. Yeah,
excellent,
very cool.
Excellent. And then, you know, there's just so many of the like, in the hardcore camp. I think Isaac's in about 20 bands around here. So you'd have to check out his list a little bit. But like,
just look up Isaac on Wikipedia and listen to all of his other bands.
They're all awesome too, you know, and I think what's cool right now, and I'm going to kind of forget a lot of the names, but what's really cool right now is a lot of young like punk bands coming up right now. A lot of like kind of skate punk.
Yeah.
Scene going on with like a lot of the younger kids and stuff. That's really cool to see, and I like that we're getting something a little different. And they're meshing with the hardcore, and I like that we could suck there's another fest that goes on every year here called No Comply. They play at the skate park, and that's like one of the coolest things I've ever seen. I haven't gotten to go to that yet, but we're usually out of town. But like, man, like there's so much cool music coming out of Louisville all the time.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
I'm not a big skate punk guy, but I know it's cool that it's kind of having a resurgence because
it's not my favorite thing either, but it is awesome to watch. You know, it's like really
absolutely. They're
great.
They're great fun bands, and you know, it might mean they might make a new Tony Hawk's game, which they could put some of the songs in the soundtrack for. You said about touring. Actually, I wanted to ask you about. So you came to our Fair Shores this year. You
Mhm.
supported Better Lovers and Frontiera. I went to the Bristol date of the show. It was absolutely sick. You guys smashed it.
Thank you.
How did you find coming? Is that your first overseas tour?
Yeah, first time over there, literally at all in any capacity.
Yeah.
It was mind blowing. You know, it was
Hell
so
yeah.
cool. And like we've been around for a while, so we've seen the comments like, "Come to the UK, come here, come there." And,
Most of them from me.
and you know, we were always kind of told in like touring circles, like, first time you go to Europe, you're gonna lose money. It's just how it is. You're kind of starting over, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And like, we got really lucky to open with Better Lovers, which, you know, I love all those dudes, and Frontier is such a cool band. Like,
Yeah.
I've liked that band for a long time, so getting to play with them was a real treat. But the shows were incredible. Like, we only played, I think, 6 or 7 shows, but they were all amazing. And we met so many people that had been following the band for a while, and we got gifted a couple little trinkets and like notes and
cool.
letters and stuff, and just it was really welcoming. It was very, very cool, and I can't wait to go back.
Yeah, so you're coming back, aren't you? I've got tickets for the day. You're playing Portsmouth, which is like the nearest town to where me and my co-host is usually with me, but he's busy today. Sonny, nobody really ever comes through Portsmouth anymore because we're quite close to Bristol and we're quite close to London and we're quite close to Brighton. So generally people kind of miss us and skip by us. So that's really exciting that you guys are coming down. And like, especially with you guys supporting Better Lovers, like I feel like you're in a room of people who are all just kind of ready to become Greyhaven fans, just by virtue of the fact that they're there to see Better Lovers. So it's like a perfect situation for you guys.
Definitely helps us out. And 68, you know, I just feel like those two bands and us together is like, and we've toured with 68 and Better Lovers like multiple times, and so like, it's literally going to be like a big group of friends going over
just
there,
a friends
and just
fest,
doing it. I can't wait.
That's awesome, man. That's really cool. I mean, check out the new record, guys, when it comes out in it's 10th of October, I think is the release date. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, you guys have absolutely outdone yourselves. It's an incredible record.
Thank you.
Brent, thanks very much for your time. I appreciate you taking your smoke break to talk to me while you're at work.
No, thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, and I'll definitely come and give you a high five when you come to Portsmouth. And
please do. Please come hang out. I'd love to meet you in person. And again, sorry about this camera situation.
It's all good. It's all good, man. I'll figure out a way. No one will even know because I'll edit it and no one will even know that it happened. So it's fine. Awesome, man. Thank you very much for your time.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This was a blast.
Cool.
Looking forward to seeing you.
So there you have it. Brent from Greyhaven. What a lovely bloke. Thanks for checking out the video. Hit the subscribe button and we'll see you soon.